This is Laura Monroe, and you're listening to Sonic Perspectives.
Hi, Lauren. This is Robert Cavuto, and thank you so much for joining us today. I truly appreciate you taking the time to speak with us. Thank you.
It's my pleasure.
Yeah, today we're going to be talking about Lauren's new album, Messages from Aphrodite, coming out September 9th. So we're excited to talk to you. I've been listening to it a bunch of times. I love it.
I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Great.
Now, before we talk about the album, I was just wondering, who are some of your musical influences?
I have to say Tom Petty was my greatest musical influence. He was the first concert I ever saw when I was early teenager. And yeah, I feel like he emulates a lot of the things that I love, which is a collective of various types of genres. And he's able to wrap it up and make it his and bring it into mainstream music. So my biggest influence. Linda Ronstadt influenced me quite a bit as well.
I also thought I heard Bonnie Raitt in there too, you know?
Bonnie Raitt, Melissa Etheridge. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
All good influence. So when did you start playing guitar and singing? And of course, later performing.
I received a guitar from my grandfather when I was 5 or 6. And I started writing then. I wrote my first song after I learned my first 3 chords. And it's always been a way on the way I wanted to communicate my feelings and what I saw around the world. And yeah, I started really young, and I just always that was my go-to thing as a kid. And then I got very self-conscious as a teenager and didn't sing. And I was a dancer. I studied dance for quite a while because singing felt a little too exposed. And then I got back into it when I was in my early 20s, and I've continued.
Well, that's great. I saw you at the City Winery, and if you remember, you're a natural, so it all came back.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I remember seeing you there. It was a great show, and I look forward to going back in November.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the show. You know, and if I'm not mistaken, well, you're from Long Island. It's really not the hotbed of like Americana, country, and folk music, to my knowledge. When did you pick up and go in that direction?
I'm from Queens, actually. I grew up in Whitestone, and sorry.
I thought Long Island. I apologize.
That's okay. I had a lot of influences from my grandfather again, because he loved bluegrass music. He played, and we spent a lot of summers every summer, and now too, we go to the Adirondacks all the time. And I was very influenced by the bluegrass music up there and square dancing. And
wow.
I just always had I was underneath somehow. And then when I grew up in Queens, I was listening to Van Halen and AC/DC and Donna Summer and Elton John and like the whole radio hits of the time. And I was greatly influenced by the music in the 70s and as well. So I don't know, I must have it in my soul somewhere, and it's wonderful I could be doing it right now.
Yeah, you know, because so we'll talk about the CD. It's coming out September 9th, Messages from Aphrodite. It's a follow-up to Under the Wolf Moon, and it's a pure slice of Americana. So yeah, when you say Tom Petty, I totally get it.
Thank you.
How did you want this new CD to be different than Under the Wolf Moon?
Under the Wolf Moon had a lot of tracks that I've had for a very long time, that and some new ones as well, that I wanted to put together and offer. And there was a mixture of a lot of genres for that. This one is pretty much focused on the Americana. And the songs were written, all of them are songs about love. So that's the common thread through it. And there's some softer songs that are very introspective and ballad-like, and there's a few songs that really rock. And I have some covers on the song I didn't have on the other album. I'm excited to be covering Lucinda Williams song and a Jane Siberry song on it. So that's how it's a little bit different. And I co-produced this one with Jim Scott, which was great for me to be able to step in that role a little bit more than I have before and earn the title.
Oh, that's great. You also released a new single called Sparrow. And it's an interesting story. My wife often uses the sight of a blue jay or a cardinal to reference my parents or her mother who had passed away. When she sees the blue jay, it's her mom. When the cardinals, it's my mom and my dad. So I think this song from the press release touches upon that idea. Can you expand upon that?
Mhm. Oh, sure. That's so wonderful that your wife does that. Birds have a great symbolism in a lot of different areas, and um, Sparrow specifically is affiliated with Aphrodite.
Mhm.
I didn't know that when I wrote the song, so I was happy to find that out afterwards. But birds and the presence of loved ones in the spirit world are really common. Um, and I share the same thing. I've heard a lot of people tell me that since
Yeah.
I released the song. Butterflies too.
Butterflies, yes.
Butterf Yeah, and birds. So, I tried to reflect how nature gives us these windows of opportunity to speak to people we've lost, um, because I believe that we're consciousness, and once the body leaves, our consciousness is still there, and we're able to have these connections with people who have crossed over. And this song is a reminder of that and how we can just be still in nature and get these feelings. And it's just a validation for people that, yes, they're there
Yeah.
in my life experience. I know they're there. And the songs gives you an opportunity to just listen and feel that.
Yeah, and that's why we love looking at them and finding them and seeing them. We always say they're watching over us, particularly in a harder time in our lives. We're always like, oh, they're here. It's okay. They're going to take care of us. So that's nice to hear the song about it. And I get, my wife was intrigued too, so she enjoyed the song also.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
Thank her for, yeah.
I will. I will. I have to wonder, were these songs written during the pandemic?
Um, most of some of them were. Some
Yeah.
of them were. I know Gold certainly was. Sparrow was. Void, of course, was. There's a number of them that were, and there some of them I wrote along while I was making the Under the Wolf Moon. I wrote was while I was recording. I was writing. So yeah, I think the pandemic and the way life has been unfolding is a is a big inspiration for writing because there's just so much texture in the world and so much to think about who we want to be as human beings.
Right. Now, when you're typically go to write a song, does it come to you on the guitar? Does it come to you as a melody? Does it come to you as a lyric line? How do you like to typically write, and how does it happen?
All of those ways. Um, it's interesting. I never sit down and be like, I'm going to write a song. Like, I can do that, and I envy people so much that have that craft and they write every single day, and they make and I write every single day, but it's always in the middle of like I have my phone by my bed, and I wake up in the night and I hear something, and I'm like, oh, I'll lose it if I don't get it. So I sing it into my phone, or if I'm rehearsing something else and I make a mistake, I'm like, oh, that was cool. If I change the chord, this and that, and then the song comes, or I'm practicing, and all of a sudden it comes, and then so it's very much inspired in the moment. And then what I'll do normally is just sit with it as long as I can and finish it, or I'll take a few weeks to craft it and take my time with it, keep going back to it. So
Is there any one
I
song on this album that came to you as a gift from above or came through you?
yeah, there's a few of them that did. Gold was like that. Sparrow was like that. Void, of course, was like that. And yeah, those are the main songs that came like that. And Big Love Lullaby came like that too, because I was, that song was released on Under the Wolf Moon as a rock song. And I went to play it, and something was going on in the world. I was feeling sad, and I just started playing a little bit differently. I was tired, and I I uh, I started singing in a different way, and it was beautiful. And I had a different energy around it. So I figured for that song, if someone's heard the rock version, or maybe and it didn't reach them, maybe this ballad would reach them, because I feel like the message is so important right now,
Yeah.
uh, to be able to look at that, what we are and what we need to change the world and to heal the world right now.
It's always incredible when it happens, right? It just takes you back and like, wow, that was a gift from the universe, and you have to move with it, right?
Absolutely, and I feel like that's my one of my favorite places besides being on stage, being in that space of receiving music like that. And to me, it's like a meditation when I'm writing. I'm completely gone, and I'm with this other presence that is very loving and wise, and I feel very blessed that I could do that.
Very cool. What's the hardest part of writing a song? Is it the verse, the chorus, the bridges, the lyrics? What gives you the most trouble?
No, I don't really. I sometimes the bridge, if I need a bridge, oftentimes I don't even write a bridge.
Yeah.
It all comes in one thing, and then I said, well, maybe this needs a bridge, and I go, no, it is what it is. I don't like to overthink and try to be too musical. When for me, the music isn't always. It's not about the music. It's about how you feel.
Yeah.
So it's not a technical exercise to have the best song. It's an exercise in how to be in the moment and have this beginning, middle, and end, so someone can listen fully and have an experience of what I want them to feel. So the approach is from a healer, not from a songwriter when I
Oh,
write the
that's very
song.
insightful. I like that. I have to listen to it from that perspective. I like that. You know, when I saw you at the City Winery this past March, which is hard to believe March has gone by already, you performed The Color of Snow, but not before telling the story where the gentleman who was struggling with depression and was about to take his own life, and the neighbors in the community came and rallied around him to save him. What is it about stories like that that draw you into writing lyrics, and where do you hear about them? Where'd you hear about this story? It's a great one.
Well, this story came from my work with veterans through our foundation, the Raven Drum Foundation,
Mhm.
and so I'm able to have the experience of hearing these stories from people who suffered. I'm very closely connected with suicide prevention, so it's an important story for me to tell. Um, and the song came, uh, I don't know, the song came after hearing about this through visual imagery, just remembering it and putting myself in the place of this person
Mhm.
who um, who I'm glad to say did not complete his mission of suicide. So I love telling the story. I have to tell you, there after every performance when I tell the story, there's dozens of people that come up to me with an experience of suicide. Either they've
Wow.
lost someone, or they wanted to do that, or they're dealing with PTSD, and they struggle with the idea of suicide, and it's very powerful.
Yeah,
And as I'm getting out there and performing it more and more, I'm seeing how much the story needs to be told. So people need to hear it.
it's a great story. And I think it really made the song more impactful, you know? So I really appreciated the song more knowing the history behind it. And I like that. And that's what I really liked about your
Yeah.
shows was it wasn't just sing song after song. There was some really nice storytelling and some joking and some laughing. And so it was a fun experience. And I want to take my wife next time, you know, you play there. But how important is that storytelling to your live performances?
It to me, it's very important because I mean, I love writing music and performing music, and there's a lot of amazing artists out there that make wonderful songs and play them. But my purpose as an artist is to bring in that healing element. And so the setup of the story is everything to my live performance. I want people to understand and guide them how to think while they're listening, so that it becomes a healing experience for them. And so it's a big influence in why I perform,
Yeah.
to do that, the storytelling. As actually, I'm going to be doing a track by track of the album, so I get to tell the stories of the songs.
Awesome.
I'll release that later in the year. Mhm.
Is it for all of your albums or just this album?
I'm going to do it just for this one to start, to see, and then I'd love to do it for other albums, because there are rich stories behind them. Like, Color of Snow is from Under the Wolf Moon, and I didn't do it track by track. You have to come to the show to get that story, or go to my YouTube performance where I tell the story at another winery. So
That's great.
yeah, I love storytelling. Is a big piece.
No, that's fantastic. I think all of your songs focus either on strength, love, resilience. How does that manifest in your life? I know you're a healer, so tell me a little about the correlation between all of that.
It's so funny. It's a simple question. I'm not sure how to answer that, because all these things are a thread of what I am and what I do every day,
Mhm.
to just try to fulfill my purpose and then be present, to be guided. So I think, well, a part of my resilience, of course, is to be able to take time to express how I feel through art and music. And when I do that, I think our emotions become elevated, or mine do. I'm brought out of whatever darkness I'm in, and I see it in a different way. And when it becomes like something to share with someone else, it takes me to a higher place around it. And I want other people to feel that when they hear this song. Like, if they're dark, this song takes them out of the darkness so they could see themselves differently. Yeah, and I think in general, resilience is just a part of who I am. I always try to just take the positive out of something, reframe it, try to look at it in a way where I see the growth and the power behind it, instead of maybe the destruction and the weakness of it. Um, and I put it into everything that I do.
More people should do that. I think the world would be a better place, right?
If we all had the skills to do that. I think a lot of people don't even have the skills, and have been wounded so badly they don't know how to look at themselves differently. But yes, I think if we all had that ability, we would see the world a lot differently. And once you see the world differently, then the world becomes different.
I agree. Touching upon the track by track, when I was at the Citywood Winery in New York, you had a video company, I guess, or videographer filming the show. I assumed you filmed the other East Coast shows. Are you planning to release something?
Like a live
Yeah,
performance?
live performance, yeah.
Not from that time, unfortunately, but I will be doing a live shoot. We're planning it right now for a show I'm going to be doing in LA. Hopefully, we'll see. You never know with live what's going to happen and what's going to come of it. But I would love to embrace some of the live performances, because things are different in front of an audience. That whole experience becomes our experience, like with everybody who's there.
Right.
And so I'd love to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to see that again. That would be wonderful, to put out a montage of the different shows and some of the songs, and the way people interacted with you, and your family was there, your friends were there that day. So it would be fun to see that. It's very personal.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And Jillian mentioned that you were rehearsing. Are you planning another string of shows coming up?
Yes, we are. I'll be announcing them shortly, and I'll be doing a string of shows down the West Coast, starting in Seattle and going down to San Diego, and then I'll be doing some East Coast shows, and doing some shows out in the mountain region of America, so in Boulder and other regions around there. So we're still putting things together, but I'm excited to be doing that now.
Excellent. Excellent. I look forward to the announcement. But I want to thank you so much for your time today. It was a pleasure to speak with you. It was a pleasure to see you in concert, and I wish you the best with your new CD. So congratulations and best of luck.
Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you again and meeting your wife at the show.
Definitely. I'll definitely bring
All
it.
right.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.